Hello, beautiful soul, and welcome to the Little Reader's house. I'm the Little Reader, also known as Amanda, and you, my sweet friend, have happened into my house, whether by walking, or floating, or using wheels, or just the power of pure imagination. I don't know how you did it, but you're here. And as always, you're not alone. First of all, you got me, the Little Reader, the form, who in the presence of spirit is just as much a guest and also so at home. But consider that we are in this together and I am learning at the exact same rate that you are. Never to be elevated and never to be put below, but equals you and I. And, or actually maybe more appropriately, one. And we have this beautiful lapis, which has been featured here in the house before. But it's gorgeous. Originally, it was in a pendant, and I broke it out of that pendant because it didn't seem like it wanted to be there. And now it's free. So that's how it got to be here. That's how we got to be here. We all broke out of something. So we're doing what we do here in the house, which is channeling in spirit whatever message wants to come through for you and I. To have and to hold. To love and to cherish. For as long as it resonates with our heart. So what is it, Spirit? Talk to me. Talk to us. What would you like to bring in for the beautiful soul who's witnessing this transmission, for this lapis, and for me? Interesting. I've been learning runes lately. Runes to add to the collection of tools that can be used for the purposes of transforming thoughts into shared symbolism. Alchemy, if you will. And I have encountered a rune that I believe is called Tiwaz. And it, if I am recalling correctly, is an arrow pointing up. And in the book that I have, among other resources, it's referred to as Sky God. But there's this element of justice, ascension, power. And it's amazing because you can feel all that energy from, if I'm remembering correctly, this rune, which is nothing more than a symbol etched onto a little piece of ash wood, which I have in a little satchel right over there next to my bed. It's amazing how we can diminish with our minds symbols. And we can also enlarge them. We can take sacred books, ancient books, holy books, and worship those little papers. And I always wondered why the papers were so thin. I grew up surrounded by Bibles in all translations. And I always wondered why the papers were so thin. But in the mental world, the glorification of the book itself, and even in a lot of entertainment, individuals would use that book like a sword. I remember a phase in my childhood when exorcisms were a lot of the focus of my religious education, if you will. And yes, that was no Freudian slip, darling. That was for effect. Indoctrination, education. Who can say? Seeing people get slapped around with the Holy Bible was, well, it left an imprint on my young mind, for certain. But then fast forward, and it turns out that every culture, every belief system, every group, every individual even has their biases. They have their preferences. They worship and elevate certain symbology, like the Tiwaz rune, looking up. So much vast, rich history just behind a couple of strokes. And other cultures elevate their books, and others elevate their microscopes, and elevate their technology, elevate their dollar. Every culture, every group has its sacred symbols. And if you drill it down even further, as we love to do in this house, every individual has their sacred symbols. So when I, the awareness that resides in this form, as cute as it is from time to time, takes a step back into the witness perspective and gazes upon it, it being the little reader, what I as awareness witness is an ever-changing catalog of symbols. This is almost like flipping through giant pages, like a catalog. And the phases that pass through this form and this being, it's exploration, it's indoctrination, education of one type of sacred symbology. And then give it a few years and we're on to another type of sacred symbology. And there's so much usefulness in this. Spirit and the awareness that resides within this form, which happen to be one and the same. Celebrate. Celebrate it all. Celebrate the symbols. Celebrate the cultural similarities and the cultural differences. Celebrate the diversity. It's just juicy and delicious, and it sounds a lot like food, but then it's more than that. It's inspiring and energizing and enlightening. And unlike food, it bears no weight. The zest and the power of diversity is working its magic on this planet. And it's working its magic in this little form you see before you, which is simply a smaller version. I don't know why we're pulling on the linen shirt, but it's a smaller version of the planet itself. So today, the message that comes through with that rune, the sky god, Tiwaz, there's so much to wax about, wax poetic that is. And yet, when spirit has a moment, when the awareness within has a moment to come out, it says, enjoy your symbols. Witness your symbols. Cast the non-judgmental light of unconditional loving awareness onto your symbols, whatever they may be. Books, runes, crosses, pentagrams. Oh, the list goes on. And if we go further, which we always do, we go beyond symbology, as I said, that's shared by culture, into the individual. The symbols of your mind, the thoughts, the numbers, that which you attribute weight to, that which you attribute energy to. When you think of a person in your mind and associate that with an emotion, that's a symbol. That's alchemy there. That's magic. When you think of a concept and you attribute some meaning to that, same process. And spirit celebrates it, enjoys it thoroughly. Spirit sits in the witness position and says, what is she going to latch onto next? How will she educate herself next? And spirit sees the value in this. Spirit doesn't say, stop it. Stop getting educated. I'll stop, I promise. Just lose all the intellect and lose all the information and just be free of it all. Brainwash literally all that you've learned out of you. That is not the message. Oh, the sweet mind, so quick to draw a paradoxical opposite and then believe that the pendulum must swing all the way over to the other side. There is value in swinging pendulums, my friend. But Spirit's magic, Spirit's invitation is always right in the middle. Which is to say this. Play with your symbols. Enjoy your symbols. But when it comes to worship, when it comes to elevation, to seeking the all that is, the great power, the truest truth, let yourself have no other symbols before me. Me, this moment. Me, unconditional loving awareness of now. And right now, beautiful soul, as far as I can tell, this moment shared between you and I is two souls loving one another. Maybe more, depending on how many people you have in the room with you. It is souls searching to connect. It is souls sharing a transmission, because I receive from you, my friend, just as much as you receive from me. It is elements of the divine doing a divine dance. And Spirit asks that when it comes to looking for the greatest symbol of all, look no further than now, than here. There is no knowledge greater than what you'll find now. There is no power greater than what is had here. There is no love more potent or miraculous than what can be found here. Not yesterday, not tomorrow, not in 5 minutes. Now. And of course the mind rears up. I can hear it now. But what about innovation? And what about change? And what about seeking? And the value of expanding the consciousness of the human condition? And of course education is important. And of course, I don't know why it went so very British, but it just did. Forgive. What about the power that I'm supposed to gain over this reality? Isn't that what it all gets back to? How funny. Spirit says, ultimate power is not gaining control over your reality. Ultimate power is surrendering yourself to the control of reality. You bow down. You get down. Down, not to say lower, inferior, weaker, sinner, bad, dirty, pathetic. No. Down to say, you're down. I'm down, baby. I'm down for this ride. We work together. There is nothing to overthrow, to control, to possess, to know. And there certainly isn't any space in Spirit's mind to force, to crank open another mind and shove the symbols of choice that may resonate with your patterning onto another. Superiority, we take it as a concept, kiss it on the head, and then recycle it. We recycle it into oneness. No here and here, no here and here, just yeah, oh yeah. And when we've taken just a split second, and I mean a hair, because the mind can only grasp this for very brief moments if we don't have an ongoing practice at a time. If we can just get our teeth into it for a blip of a second, we learn, oh, oneness. So if I'm one with everything, that really would mean that this moment is perfect, exactly as it is. Because the need to change the moment originates from the need to control something. Some element, either internal or external. But if we're all one, then there's nothing to control, so that means that I just sit back. I just sit back? Well, shit. That's not very sexy. Which is why Spirit will never judge. Spirit knows it's sexy to struggle and create problems, to seduce. Seduce danger and chaos and disruption and fragmentation and all the other beautiful messes that we can get into on this planet. And Spirit doesn't see them as messes. Again, Spirit is oneness, so they're already done. Spirit's not even in linear time the way we are. But for those who have played around in their fair share of messes and are ready to take a break, even just a small one, just a little itty-bitty one, we can get right back to the drama tomorrow. We can dive right into some whack-ass shit tomorrow and stir things up and see what happens when we try to gain control over reality. But just for today, just for now, Spirit invites oneness. Set down the symbols for just a second. Take a deep breath in. Let go all of the beliefs. Well, I know this, and my God said that, and that's the way it's supposed to be, and we can do it better, and if only they knew what I know. If only I knew what they know. And just take a hit of that. My neighbor's construction. Take a hit of that too. Take a hit of it all. It's all oneness. It's all here. Just for a second. Just as long as the mind can tolerate it. Just one little blip. And I'll tell you, beautiful soul, about this space. The mind will buck and kick and bite and whip out some very innovative tools, including but not limited to your own beliefs as weapons against you as awareness. Because the mind do like to be a dom. So it'll do whatever it can to wrangle and keep you spinning right up here. It will try to keep you out of this moment, this present moment, this magic moment. That happens a lot around here, beautiful soul. That little sing-songy tune. But if you dwell in it long enough, something happens. It's like Tiwaz, the sky god. Full circle, baby. We'll bring a symbol right back in to a story about letting symbols go. That's how spirit works. Don't think about it, just roll with it. Something happens when you sit with the moment for long enough. You wake up this. Your heart. An area long neglected. And somehow it knows what to do. The mind will always tell you, beautiful soul, if you sit down, you're going to lose your momentum. You're going to waste your time. What are you going to do? You'll never know what to do. But if you actually sit down and zippy the lippy and watch the mind, this wakes up. And you will know what to do. And you will know where to go. And you will know how to get there. A force will drive you that you cannot instinctively or intellectually, instinctively perhaps, intellectually, nay, understand. Certainly not at first. And it will always be a journey, because as you progress, your mind will begin to understand a little of how the heart works, and at first it will be in awe, and then it will seek to take back control again. So you expand it further, and the mind will be in awe of the miracles, and then it will seek to take back control again, and then it will expand further, and so on and so forth. Speaking of symbols and belief systems, we see this happening often. There will be an initial ripple of hearts waking up. And then as soon as the practice of communing with the present moment stops, the belief system or the symbol becomes hijacked by the mind as a form of control. It's all good. Just don't walk away from this transmission without having taken your little moment to touch the divine, the ultimate symbol, the ultimate source of power. Now. Yum. That is where we're leaving it today, beautiful soul. Thank you so much. There's a lot to thank you for. Let's see. We got a few minutes. Thank you for being here in the house. Thank you for commenting when you do, for liking, for showing the love in the YouTube language, but also for sending the love through the screen, which can always be felt. Thank you for not just investigating the little reader as a character, but looking beyond the form into the light that's here, and letting that remind you of the one that's in there. Because if there's anything that I can humbly ask of you, is that you just turn that on. Until we meet again, beautiful soul, I'm sending you all the love I've got. Always more. Never less. Because you are so very worthy.